This is the fun part. A deployment is a collection of servers. So we'll go ahead and click on new deployment, and now we have to make some choices. We're launching on AWS, on Amazon Web Services, and the most important platforms on the web already exist as templates. So for instance, Magento, Shopware, WordPress. WordPress also is WooCommerce, and just general PHP-based applications. So we're going to take a look at Magento 2. And just for fun, we're going to select autoscaling cluster. Now we have to make a decision. We have to name it something. So the name should be meaningful to you 6 months from now. So for instance, you don't want to just say server. You don't want to say website. You want to be as descriptive as you can. So for instance, you want to say that this is our employee store, and we're targeting Q3 of 2026. So we're launching a deployment where we will publish code, and we anticipate going live in third quarter of 26. Now we have to make some more decisions. We now have to see how many visitors we have, and based on that, we're going to select the size of the deployment. As a good solid recommendation, we typically don't recommend going with the smallest one. We recommend going with a larger deployment, and then once you launch, you can scale it back later. I want to point out that as we change between these templates, look at the very bottom of the screen where you see estimated monthly cost. So as you click, the estimated monthly cost changes along with the deployment size. So the domain name, we will say store JetRails.com. So this is the domain name that everything is going to be configured for. Put a simple domain name in here, something that resolves, something that's easy to use and easy to spell. And there are ways to add other domain names later into the configuration. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at different layers. So we have a jump host, we have auto-scaling web, we have database, OpenSearch, Varnish, Redis, Session, and Cache, RabbitMQ for those who use it, and auxiliary instances. So let's take a look at this. Auto-scaling web configuration. Each deployment has a number of CPUs and gigs of RAM. And also it has how many web nodes are going to be present in this configuration. So in this one, we say minimum of 3 web nodes and a maximum of 10. So the environment, if it's under load, will auto-scale up to 10 nodes, and then it'll stop. Why is it 10? Why isn't it unlimited? Because sometimes you have a bot attack and you don't want it to just keep scaling up forever. But in theory, if you have a big sale coming and you want to just allow it to scale up to 30 servers, you just slide this little slider and up to 30 web servers will launch. Let's go back to the instance size. So these are instances provided by Amazon Web Services, AWS. There are many, many others, but we only provide 5. The reason we provide 5 is that these are the useful ones for the web layer. We already went through the exercise and we know what's useful and what's not useful. So for instance, anything less than 8 gigs of RAM is not useful. Anything really more than 64 gigs of RAM is also not useful. You're better off having more servers rather than bigger servers. Now, the database layer is actually kind of different because on the database side, we give you a lot more options. And sometimes you need to have the really gigantic servers with 256 gigs of RAM and 64 CPU cores. We give you a lot more room here because database does not scale horizontally. It only scales vertically, meaning it gets bigger and smaller, but you can't have more or less database servers. If you just go with a large or a medium or an extra large, you're going to be fine.